Good morning, traders. Welcome back to another live stream. If you're new, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Before we get started, make sure you read what's on the screen. Trading is risky. Most traders do lose money. I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts. And the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. Welcome back to the show, everybody. Let's go ahead and hop on these charts. Markets are open, 9:35 a.m. Eastern. Let me go ahead and share this screen. Good morning, chat. I see we've got a bunch of people in here right off the bat this morning. Welcome back to the show. As you guys may or may not know, we are trading on Top 1 Futures, instant funded accounts right here. Actually, these are the straight to funded Sim Pro accounts. I got a 7-pack of the 150Ks loaded up. Going to be trading ES here on Project X, the Project X platform. See if we can't make some money today on this beautiful Tuesday, July 29th. Let's see what we got. What's up? Apps, Jeremy, Colt, good morning. Good morning. Scott, good morning. NQ Blast Off, any takers? I am short from pre-market on MNQ in separate accounts. Was talking about that in Discord. Aaron, what's up? Wolf, what's up? Andrew, what's up? What's going on, everybody? What's up, Jeremy? Wolf, looking at NQ and YM going opposite. Yep, got some divergence there. We'll take a look around the horn while ES is really just sitting here. Is NQ shot out of a rocket today? Ooh, yeah, it looks like it's going to be a stop for me on that MNQ short. Yeah, I don't think I'm surviving that. But that's okay. We're here trading ES off the open. That's the game plan. So let's see what we get. Dwayne, what's up? Afternoon. Yeah, you guys are all on different sides of the world, right? So let's go ahead and get some analysis rolling on these charts. I like to jump out to the daily. Take a look at what we got going on. We have, as you guys know, been pushing really since the tariff talk started to get more positive from April. We've consolidated up here, and now we have just continued to blast through all-time highs. I've mentioned it a couple times because I think it's interesting to watch on the daily chart. Take a look at each daily candle. We have really consecutive breaks above and closures above, in many cases, prior day highs, and no breaks below prior day lows. We have very, very bullish movement out of the U.S. indices here, really across the board. I don't know what YM does. I've been taking a little bit of a look at NQ because I am trading that in pre-market, but here on ES specifically, very bullish movement, right? Yesterday, we did end up with a bearish bar because we cracked the high and then came back down in on the day. Today, you can see we're opening up really in the middle of that daily range, right? Prior day low and prior day high right here. But opening up bullish, starting to push to the upside. Doesn't look like as bullish as NQ or as bearish as YM. But we'll see if those sustain. ES kind of just sitting in the middle here, right around VWAP. Let's take a look at the overnight session. Actually, we'll zoom out on the 15-minute. You can see a little bit. I got Bookmap still barking at me from yesterday. I might have to turn that off or at least adjust it to the upside. So it gets so many audible alerts. But taking a look at the 15-minute, you can see what happened yesterday. Opened gap up, pushed the high, and then really sold off for majority of the day up until the end of the day where we popped right back up towards VWAP. Session changeover, overnight session, just drifting higher really here in ES. I know NQ is above highs, putting all-time highs in. This is looking pretty bullish overall, right? We had a little retest of VWAP here right off of London Open and then pushed to the upside. We retested it in pre-market, but it looks like buyers are stepping in to try to bring this thing higher. We got our overnight high up here at 64.42.5, coming right off of VWAP here right now for the open. Let's zoom back into the 1 minute, reset VWAP, and yeah, right back down to VWAP at the open and now starting to push to the upside. Yesterday, really slow moving, choppy day, eventually starting to sell off, and then that pop back up. Today, we'll see what we get. Let's take a look at news on the board for today, because we do have some. ForexFactory.com is where I like to get my news from. Let's make sure everything looks good on these streams. Yeah, we look good here. We have 10 a.m. red folder news, JOLTS job openings, and consumer confidence. It's not, it's not an FOMC, it's not an NFP, it's not unemployment, but it is high impact. So that could be a little bit dicey to be trading through here, especially on the low time frames, right? So we'll have to watch for that. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. Not much after that. Tomorrow and the rest of the week, we are heavy on the news. 8:15, 8:30 red folder, 2 p.m., 2:30 red folder tomorrow. Really news almost all day. And 10 a.m., pending home sales. It's a medium impact. Looking into Thursday, it's heavy in the morning, 8:30 a.m., unemployment. And then Friday, we got an NFP Friday. Along with that, we have red folder at 10. So the rest of the week's really going to get dicey as far as news goes. We also have that tariff deadline. Again, I try not to pay too much attention to the geopolitical sphere, what's going on with U.S. politics and and things like that. But that's heavily impacting these markets. It's really been impacting these markets. So it's something to watch for sure. So back over to the charts here. Again, 10 a.m. It's actually on the chart itself. If you trade on Project X, it's pretty sweet. You can get it through the news calendar thing, the community hub, I think they call it, Trader Hub. But right down on there, this is a setting you can turn on and off. It actually shows you, when we have high impact news events, which is pretty cool. You can mark it with a line. Maybe you do a vertical line so you really don't jack it up. But we'll have to watch for that one. It's something that I would trade through, JOLTS, but that's on the that's kind of on the higher end of what I would want to trade through. I really wouldn't want to hold through an NFP or FOMC unless you're just YOLOing an eval or something, a combine. But for the most part, don't really want to touch that. So framing out some trade ideas. Now that we got that under our belt, starting to let the market open up. 10 minutes in. Again, sweep of over. I was gonna say again. I want to be cautious of trading through red folder news, but sweep of overnight high up into these 45s, maybe 50s wouldn't look too bad for a potential short play. Up into this area, it's not a really high volume area, but maybe ahead of prior day high, because if we come all the way up here, we just start pushing highs. That's a huge bullish move. I really don't want to be fading that. I wouldn't mind it, let's say, off of the 50s, right? If we pulled up above the 45s, above overnight high. As far as buys, I would much rather buys. That might be better after the 10 a.m. news if we really dip down. I could see that from multiple spots on my chart right now. Bookmap not screaming at me anything too clear here. As far as this goes, there's nothing crazy standout on the book today. We could pull up Bookmap in a moment. But I could see it potentially off like the 25s, maybe even just a sweep of this overnight low level off like the 20s. Looking for long plays for continuation back up to the upside. Again, similar to yesterday, we have a lot of red folder news the rest of the week. We could see kind of a continuation of that choppy consolidating movement that we had yesterday, at least off of the open, right? So far,
ES sellers at 6,435.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to calm down Bookmap because it's gonna be a little bit annoying to listen to that all day. So far, nothing crazy, nothing too volatile. We'll have to see what we get here. But yeah, I could see potential longs on a really, again, just sweep of overnight high, sweep of overnight low. The London, Asia highs and lows. Very, very simple for a trade back towards VWAP. If we consolidate, if we form structure, kind of like yesterday when we started to sell off, I could be cautious. It depends on how we get to these levels, right? What does volume and order flow look like? But initially, that's what I could be considering. Short off the 45s to 50s, long off the 20s. Around that area for a nice reversion trade. Starting to sell off here though. We got a nice dropping CVD. Same on NQ. I got NQ Bookmap loaded up nowadays. We can take a look at what NQ did. Yeah, NQ was really strong out of the gate. If we look at it on the 15-minute, You can see we're pushing this high here, unlike ES, right? If we look at ES on the 15-minute, a little bit different structure, right? Very bullish, but looks like we wicked above and now are turning down lower here. Yeah, I think that's going to be right at a stop out for that earlier position. Interesting. Let's take a look at YM real quick. Yeah, there again. I don't take other U.S. indices into consideration when I'm trading, but you guys have been pointing it out. There's just been so much disagreement between all of them, where usually they are more correlated. You know, today we got NQ selling off right at the. We got YM selling off at the open, cracking lows, right, cracking all the way down here. We got NQ really doing the opposite, just shot out of a rocket, and then kind of ES dead set in the middle here. Interesting to see. So, again, nothing crazy. We got 15 minutes to red folder news. For the most part, I don't like trading through red folder news. It's going to generate a quick W or a quick L. And, if you have a good trade on, if my level gets hit, if I have a real clear indication of a reason to get involved with this market, I could consider it. But outside of that, I would want to be cautious. And I really wouldn't mind being out of it rather than in it as we come through. So that's the thought process here. Again, for you guys that missed it, I'll just show it one more time. We do have red folder news, 10 a.m. JOLTS job openings. That's likely going to cause some increase in volatility. How much? Really what exactly happens? Do we go up or down? I try not to predict that. I just like to be aware of it. Make a game plan around it. So far, kind of chopping here around VWAP. Nothing too crazy. Not blasting off at the open. Nothing nuts here.
Sweep ES buyers at 60.
All right, let's see what we got rolling here today. Chat, how we doing today? ES is stretched in the middle, deciding whom to follow. Yep. Afternoon, Dwayne, what's going on? So in YM, shooting for the stars, it's best to short NQ right to the ground. Yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to trade it, right? If you pay attention to correlation, if you're going to utilize those correlations in a certain way, that's how you could do it. You could be using them as confirmation if they're just, diverting, not really not lining up at all. You could look to do something like that. Then try to correlate a little after lunch. Yeah. Yo, Luna Trades, what's up, bro? What's going on? What's happening, man? What's up, Andrew? What's up, Scott? Kingpin, what's going on? Ralph, we got everybody in chat today. Good morning, Omega. What's happening? Jeremy, middle of summer, I'm working outside, so it's hot. What's up on another planet?
Sweep ES sellers at 60.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to adjust this because it's gonna be barking at me way too much. So we were talking about audible alerts on Bookmap yesterday. I have it on automatic mode, but I'm gonna increase it so it doesn't give me as many alerts. It's only going to be for really high volume traded relative to everything else. So right back down to prior day high, trading into the 64.30s here. See if we get some continuation out of this. That sucks. Looks like I had two shorts running on MNQ, two different accounts. Looks like the first one was stopped by 5 points before this sell-off. That sucks. Second one still's alive, about halfway to target. That's a pain in the ass. But you structure your risk, you take your trades. I've been on a heater with those pre-market trades. Really, really simple. Same thing that I do here. Talking about that real quick, just for those interested.
Sweep ES sellers
My
at
alarm goes off
6,430.
at,
Absorption ES
I just can't
buyers at
survive this.
6,430.25.
Ooh, we're selling off through the 30s here.
Sweep ES.
Let me get back over to ES. Hang on, guys. I'll talk about those pre-market trades in a minute. Got a lot of movement here. Got a lot of movement. This would be looking really good for a long here. Really good for a long. We got 10 minutes to red folder news right here. I think I'm going to wait. I'm going to see what happens if we crack down a little bit further to this overnight low level. We got quite a bit at the 25s that we didn't go and fill, but we got some volatility to the downside. CVD has dropped off really heavy. I'm going to be waiting to see what we get out of this red folder news. Under 10 minutes, so if I dive into a trade right now, I would really just be diving into news, like head first. Yeah, this is looking pretty aggressive.
Sweep ES sellers at 6,427.5.
Damn, what a pain in the ass on that MNQ trade. That would have been a W. 5-point stop out. Damn, I think the other one's probably hitting right now. Let's just take a look. Again, guys, I'm looking for a sweep of this overnight low here. I know I'm talking about two things at the same time. I'm looking for a sweep of this overnight low, but red folder news, I got to make this dicey decision to either dive in right before, which I really don't like to do. I would consider running something into it, but I really don't like to dive headfirst into it. Yeah, so that sucks, man. So I got a take profit hit on an MNQ trade from pre-market in one of the 50Ks that I'm trading, and I got a stop loss hit on another one. That's crazy, man. I mean, this is the type of move that would generate that, right? Like, you could tell I was short here, right? And short through VWAP was the play. Take profit got hit on one of them. The other one was just I was a little bit earlier and a little bit later on one versus the other. And unfortunately, this one got hit. I think, yeah, the entry was down here. It was a 200 tick stop loss, 50 points. Yeah, it was right into the 44s. So this was my stop loss. Oh, it's probably not even that many points. Yeah, 20 ticks. That's enough. Can't run it wider than I run it. Didn't survive that push to the upside. Really, the trade thesis ended up playing out, but not before a huge push up that just can't always survive. The pre-market thesis, these very, very simple trades, is my alarm goes off early in the morning Eastern time during London session. Quick jump on the charts, take a look. Are we testing above VWAP, testing levels above? Are we testing below? I'm taking a reversion trade right back down through VWAP, through that area of high volume. So it was a short play. I think when I was actually waking up, my alarm was going off somewhere over here. I threw a limit order, I think right here or above the high. I'd have to go back through and take a look. Obviously that got tagged in, showed me some profit here, but held into open, and obviously that did not play nice with me today on one of them. Difference of a couple points, but that's okay. That's how it goes. Waiting for this news to come out, guys. Getting close to that 5-minute mark on red folder news. So far, all the way down into the 25s, and then a reversion. But this is overall, this is looking pretty damn weak. Below overnight low, I would have been considering it, but we didn't even get that. So we're hanging tight. Seeing what Jolts has got for us today. Might not be anything too crazy. We will have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Let's see. What's up, chat? What's going on? Luciano, what's up? Luna, I longed about VWAP and got stopped quick. I feel that, man. I feel that. All three dropped like crazy. Wow, what a nice sell-off. Just watch the parade go by. That's why I asked you to join my Perma Bear Club, Scott. Started trading ES. Nice, Luna. How you liking ES? I mean, I like ES. I don't know that I would trade NQ pre-market if I didn't really have to be careful of not having a trade on at the same time as these accounts in a different, you know, you gotta be careful with prop accounts, right? Like, let's say you have 2 accounts with top 1 futures. If you want to run a day trade, you know, short on NQ, for example, the way that I did, you got to be careful coming on to NQ in a separate account and then going short or long. You know, it can look like, you know, hedging between accounts. Sometimes you're not able to trade between different account types, right? So gotta be cautious with that stuff. But if I didn't have to do that, I'd probably just keep it on ES. NQ seems to move a lot more in pre-market though. ES is just completely asleep at the wheel. So I don't really know, but I really do like ES. Slower moving, gives me more time to think here for NY Open. Seems to respect levels, doesn't pull as many of those crazy movements like we just saw. You know, insane back and forth, huge movements. So it's a little bit more manageable. But if you trade momentum, if you like that volatility, NQ, you know, can work well. I don't think there's one best. Obviously, the favorite is NQ out of futures traders, just judging by what everybody else trades. But I like ES. Maybe I'm just too slow for for NQ. So again, guys, we got under 5 minutes to red folder news. I would be cautious if you have trades on, running, right? Not a suggestion or recommendation, but just personally, I'm cautious into red folder news. I'd be cautious. And while we are hanging, we'll show you guys the banner that we got up on the bottom, man. We have 55% off with code RDF. Not just the straight to funded, but the instant funded OG accounts. The 150Ks are $400. Now, I'm not going to say this on the live stream, but if you hop in Discord, there's something else going on that you might be able to take advantage of. So I'm just going to give you that hint right now. 55% off is wild. It's one of the best deals that we've seen since the launch on the instant funded. The straight to funded right here are also on sale. You can get into the 150K for $315. Copy trading up to 5 of them. But if you want to see what else we got going on this morning, you might want to hop in Discord. If I want to hop in my Discord. Free, link is down below. You can check that out. But yeah, these accounts are wild cheap, guys. Wild cheap. Hell of a deal. Do your own research, make your own decisions. I'm partnered, I'm affiliated. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. But link is in the chat. Link is down below. If you want to hop in Discord and see what else we got going on, go right ahead. If not, you do whatever you want to do. I'm here streaming live, trading every day. 100% free. Back test. There we go. No, it's not 10 a.m. yet. Wow, look at that. I gotta turn this down. I'm gonna have to turn this sweeps and stuff off. It's just too much. Wow, big pop up before news. That is not our 10 a.m. news yet, but an immediate crack back up back to VWAP. Aggressive, very aggressive. Luna, I back tested a bunch of trades the last few months. Better with ES. Nice. Brian C, what's up? Good morning, brother. Scott, not unless you short the indices 3 days in a row. Same, I went only lang NQ. And then there's the boomer trading YM like myself. You guys are funny. YM today, yesterday it's NQ. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are talking about being perma bears and stuff like that. I mean, I don't really waste too much time with like high time frame speculation, but I've never seen so many people calling for a top. In my Discord, on socials, on the main newsletter, seems like everybody is wants to stake their claim and call out. We got a top coming, right? All the top callers and bottom callers are coming out of the woodwork, and we're starting to hear that. Not playing out so far today, if you look at NQ especially, but a lot of people are expecting a correction to get through this tariff deal. And maybe into the summer is what I've been hearing. Big, long-awaited correction on this big push-up. I don't know. I don't really waste too much time with high time frame speculation like that, but I don't know, guys. I really don't know. These markets have not taken their foot off the gas. It has been really a heavy push. A correction, a pullback down would be normal to see, but I just don't know that we see it. Just don't know that we see it. at least yet, or the way that everybody's talking about it, like it's getting ready to smash the sell button. But we were talking about biases, right? Long bias, short bias. Traders that I was talking about traders that primarily are long only, right? I got guys that that were showing stats that like 93% of their trades are long, like where they're hardly ever going to get short. That works really, really well in bull markets. And if you're a perma bear and you start selling off, for months in a row, it's going to work really, really well to be a perma bear, right? But I think it can be helpful to find a middle ground in between. I really do. If you are completely new and a beginner and you're on new US indices, I don't think there's anything wrong with going like one direction, just long. It can just consolidate and look, help you consolidate your trade ideas for the day and, stay flat and practice that. Here's our 10 a.m. news, guys, coming in right now. 10 a.m. Eastern. Here is our JOLTS job openings. Nice wick up and down on that in between prior week high and our VWAP, but nothing too crazy. Are we putting a low in here? We're going to start to blast back up. All the liquidity off the book. I'm really on ES, completely dark. NQ didn't dry up that much. Let's see what we get, chat. Let's see what we get. Ralph getting volatile. Scott, I'll be back to YM this afternoon. Sex to red folder. Crystal Ball says trade momentum. Grow a pair. I'm right biased. Yeah, I personally, I think it just comes down to personality, right? What pair you trade. I like ES. I think it's a little bit slower. I think it respects levels. I also like NQ, I think if you're a beginner or you're struggling to find any consistency, I think ES is probably a better starting ground, but that's subjective. It's hard to really identify why that is, especially if you don't know how the person trades. But NQ can be really a monster to handle. It can be very fast moving on low time frames that a lot of traders are on, and can be very wicky, for lack of a better term, and whippy. And I think that can be tough. It can really play on your emotions. It can be not give you a lot of time to think within trades or manage anything. And ES is just a little bit slower and less volatile, and that could help. That could help. But again, it comes down to your individual preference. The only other thing I'll say, Trump comment, and that's a mover. Oh, there you go. There you go. Every red folder's a dud. Just imagine, even Powell's appearance may become a dud. It's all about Trump. Uncle Trump nowadays. Yeah, no bias yet. Scott's looking short 650 on NQ. Wolf is right biased. That's funny. Too close to VWAP right now. Need a strong move one way or the other. Yeah, I got nothing on this yet, guys. Again, you know where I'm looking long and short off of sweep of overnight low down near the 20s, or a sweep of overnight high up into the 45s, maybe 50s. So far, we're really just chopping here. This is looking bearish overall. We got back to VWAP, failing to get above. I think VWAP traders could be looking short on something like this, right? Getting closures below VWAP, failing to get above. Stop maybe way out here, looking for a continuation. But this is in wait and see mode for me personally. Yep, someone in my chat. Nobody cares about jilts now. No reaction. There's a couple guys talking in my Discord. Let's see. Selling back off here. Looks like we want to get some movement out of this. The market's showing some volume. It really does look like we actually want to start moving here. Curious to see what we get. Don Trump is the mover. A lot of wicks indecision. Only made it back to 86, 58.6, and then dropped. Yeah, what's NQ doing? Let's see. Yeah, what a pain in the ass, man. That one, you know, it happens. Get stopped out quick on something. Damn, a little bit wider, and I would have survived it, but or a little bit wider of an entry would have survived it. A couple points, but trading's a game of inches, man. That's often how it goes. Yeah, these are looking pretty weak, guys. These are looking pretty weak. I want to see what happens as we come lower, if we come lower, or as we come higher. Bookmap, I do have some levels above and below, but they're wide today. Like, I don't know if it's just orders left over or if these are market participants really expecting a big movement out of these markets. Let's pull up Bookmap, take a look at that together. So you can see CVD over here. I'll throw the link to Bookmap in the chat. As you guys may or may not know, I am partnered with Bookmap. Partnered and affiliated. I can't be unbiased if I stand to make money. I find Bookmap super helpful. Bookmap is an order flow tool. It gives you quantity of orders at specific price levels in real time, aka liquidity. Right? So here's what we're looking at. Nothing crazy stand out, right? But also it's kind of muted because we have a lot of orders above and below price at consecutive price levels. So to the downside, outside of anything really, really close, as you can see all the liquidity come off the book right before that 10 a.m. News event. Interesting to watch, right? Some more of it back on. No crazy algos today. Nothing really overlapping price or I'll show you what that looks like. Like that's that algorithmic crap. Liquidity provider, liquidity bands that kind of tracks above and below price. Just makes it difficult to read. 64.25 to the downside, right below the current low. We've got some orders sitting there. If we break, man, we got buy side all the way down to like the 395s. That could be the. Ooh, we got even more coming on down below. That could be the movement. 415s, you know, maybe if we're going to hold, right? That would be closer to prior day low. But yesterday's low I've got as 64.0875. All the way up here. Where are we at? 64.0875. Yeah, all the way up here. This would be a sweep down below yesterday's low. That would be really aggressive if we moved that far down, but it does look pretty dang weak, right? Pretty heavy negative CVD, not completely dropping off as we're moving lower. That would indicate maybe we get a sustained movement, right? We have sell volume outweighing buy volume right now. To the upside, conversely, we start to push higher. We got levels above, right? That's why we kind of got this like muted color today. Nothing crazy red sticking out. The 440s. Up above price, that would be, yeah, back up above VWAP. That would be right above session highs right here. And then above that, the 455s, right? We got some orders all the way up to the 55s, 56s. Start to lighten up above that till we get way, way, way out there. So, yeah, I don't have too much that's extremely useful. To the downside, this is a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy. I don't know. I don't know that I'm comfortable buying a dip of overnight low right up here. The 423s. I think I'd have to wait. I think I'm gonna have to wait, boys and girls. Looking at this. Yeah, I want to see what happens if we come down and crack the 25s, right? The 425s. We crack, you know, session lows to the downside. We're gonna get IB here in about 20 minutes, but. We crack session lows to the downside, go and sweep overnight low, the 64.23 and a quarter. I would be interested in looking long. I would be interested in looking long. This is just a little bit tough to get long above these if we're selling off, right? Because I really like to get long off of levels of liquidity. Large, yeah, this is interesting. So you can see what actually happened, right? Whoever was getting involved here, looks like this is the same person, but whoever was getting involved here, you could easily tell that this got moved right here because came off the book, right? It got moved right up. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, so I'm going to be waiting to see. Nothing right here off of prior week high near VWAP. We got to start selling off and then maybe hit one of these levels, get a little bit of a reaction, look for a long. We push to the upside really aggressively. I would look short on this because it looks like we want to dip today. It does look like we want to dip down today. So let's see what happens as we start to come down around session lows, the 25s. I don't know. I don't know that we sell off. I don't know that we come all the way down here. This is interesting on the book, and it's been there for quite a while, so I would be cautious of getting long above the 415s. I think that would be first potential area to start to look at getting involved. And then if we start to crack really aggressively down below that, yeah, man, the 95s, 395s. So let's see. Let's see what we get. NQ, just take a look at NQ for you. Yeah, NQ's got orders above and below. Same thing to the downside though. 23,500s, 23,500s. Nice stack of liquidity down there. So that's actually lining up. Negative CVD as well. Although we are finding some buyers down here, kind of bottoming a little bit. Interesting. Interesting, chat. Back to top one futures, back to the candlestick chart. Let's see. Kind of choppy so far. Nothing really to write home about. Nothing really to write home about yet. As always, appreciate you guys hopping on. Gonna look for a trade today. I went no trade on the stream yesterday. I was talking about some stuff I had running on MNQ, but it was a whole lot of nothing. Really a whole lot of nothing. And we continued to sell off. I really wouldn't have been able to catch a bounce on anything like that. Gonna look for something on this bad boy. I'm wondering if we dip on this. Short's looking good, but the probability of reversal is high, as well as seeing how the markets have been moving lately. Yeah, these markets have been wild, man. I don't know. I almost wouldn't mind a pop up on low volume to get me in short today. Gonna have to wait and see here. Excuse me. Starting to climb on this one. Yeah, this is kind of interesting. Back towards VWAP. I'm not going to pull anything too crazy on this just yet. Do we get a down day out of this bad boy? I'm about to get the poll rolling. Let's get a poll going in the chat, man. You guys think we're selling off today? I'm curious. Start a poll. You guys looking long America or short it? Here's the poll in YouTube. What are you guys thinking on this? You guys thinking we start to push to the upside? We come through VWAP, start to run these highs, or are we indeed going to find sellers here? This was looking pretty dang weak right off the rip. Not really continuing. We don't have a heavy growing CVD. This doesn't look like a big reversion here. Kind of just coming up here now to mess around VWAP. I don't have a lot of direction out of this. I could definitely see this, this move to the downside. I could see this flipping, coming to fill this and come all the way down to the 95s. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy, right? Wouldn't be an insane move to see a little bit of a pullback during this uptrend today. But I also could see it continuing, right? We've had just consecutive bar after consecutive bar, breaking prior bar highs on the daily, right? You got to be cautious. We haven't come up above this high. We've been putting all-time highs in nonstop. So, this really could go either way. When we're in such a roaring uptrend, the case could always be made that we're just going to go higher. We're just going to keep going higher. Just hit the buy button and throw a stop in there somewhere and get long, nonstop until it stops working. But this one is interesting for sure. I could see us coming through overnight low. I don't know if we do that, man. Again, I'm usually looking for a buy on a move lower. We come through overnight low. I think I'm going to be waiting for a move down here, man. I think I'm really going to be looking aggressively long on a move down here. I don't know that I want to get involved up here. If we just start flipping this bearish and we start pushing lower, I think that could be a dicey move. I would prefer a short if we pull back up a little bit. Give me a way to structure risk wide, because this does look like we want to move lower. I don't have it in me to short it up here. I mean, for this right now on ES, it's not my play. This looks weak though. This looks weak. Let's see. Let's see what you guys are saying. I love Donald the Duck. I grew up in Jersey. Everybody called. Yeah. We're talking Donald Duck. Long, another choppy market this morning. Yeah, man. Yeah, I agree, man. This is just not too much. Not too much. I'm gonna try to find a trade without taking something stupid. Long America. Zach, good morning, all traders. The temptation to size up is real. Yeah, listen. Follow your plan. Follow your approach. That's important. Gonna take the wife to work. Be back if I can. Get you in the car. Appreciate it, Scott. Don't trade and drive though. Not sure, but I put short. Yeah, let's see what you guys say. Yeah, you guys are looking short on this. Yeah, short's winning. I had a poll up in YouTube. Long America. I got 2/3 of you guys looking short. Yeah, I could see this short. I don't have a trade on this, guys. I really don't. There's nothing setting up for me here on this movement. We have liquidity right down here, like I was showing you on Bookmap. That might be all we get out of a dip in this market, where we don't break the low. Zooming out to the 15-minute, which I like to do, where we really just maintain, right? Like, I'm not a trend line guy, I'm not a Ray or whatever tool I'm about to use, but just to kind of point out lows of this movement, right? Maybe you draw something like that. Maybe you don't do that. You draw it down here, whatever it is, just to kind of show you. I could use an arrow, right? Like, it doesn't have to be this exact. But maybe we try to maintain this uptrend structure. If we start to come really all the way down to these 95s, that would be a little bit sketchy. We would be really starting to break this uptrend structure on a higher time frame view. But I'm looking for a long entry on this. If we start to sell off, where would I want to start trying it? And the 15s aren't a bad spot. I don't know that we do it. We might just push right from here. But the 15s wouldn't be a bad spot in my humble opinion. That would be, not missing it if it comes lower. But below that, the 395s, where we got a lot of liquidity sitting down here, would be a break of prior day low. And would it be the Friday low also? Just to take a look while the market's hanging out. Yeah, come down here and sweep all these lows. Don't know. That's okay though. Don't need to know what's going to happen next to make money. Just need to wait for what our setup looks like. So I'm trying to identify when I want to get involved with the market. I'm going to give myself two options here. One would be right around the market for everybody. I've been doing a little bit better job of this as well. I'm interested to see what happens if we come down to the 64.15s. Nothing up here. I'm, maybe we just chop, right? And we just kind of, do this, right? And you trade this range. That's beautiful. That's not enough for me to get a stop wide enough, to an area where I'm comfortable on something like this. So I'm interested off the 64.15s. We come lower than that, I'd be looking long, or I'd be interested to see what happens around the 395s. Coming all the way down below this low into all of this craziness. Conversely, we start to push to the upside. Let me look at Bookmap real quick. Yeah, the 40s are actually looking a little bit interesting. Right here we got quite a bit of liquidity. Ooh, this looks dicey, guys. This looks dicey. It looks like we might want to start moving lower. We got buyers still propping it up though. A lot of volume being traded here. I don't know. We're gonna watch. I got I'm gonna say the 45s. Right? If I had a zone, I would draw it somewhere up here above overnight high. If we're gonna start pushing higher, and I don't want to short it from all the way up here, we would just have a big, beautiful bullish bar push into the upside after selling off, sweeping lows. So I really wouldn't want to short it up here. That would be an indication that I'm wrong. So getting short all the way up here with a stop loss way up here, looking for a continuation back down. Right? If we tried to pull something like this, if we are going to move lower, oftentimes we come up higher first, right? Pull one of these bad boys, where we are actually going to move all the way lower on the day down here. That would be a really clean movement, right? Take everybody else out that was getting short down here, cook everybody, right? Pick up liquidity in the market the way the market often does, come all the way outside of all these highs above London and Asia, and then sell off, right? I wouldn't mind that. So this is going to be my area for a short. Really, the qualifier for me is going to be above overnight high. Watching to see what happens up here off the 45s, right? Simple price action, market structure, volume, order flow. To the downside, I'm looking long, but I'm giving it more room, right? I'm waiting to see if we come down to the 15s. I'm not going to take it long off the 20s. It might be all we do. Might just sweep, right? Asia London high, Asia London low. Excuse me, Asia low. Really, is coming off of session changeover. But I'm looking off of liquidity down here or potentially down here. So that's my thought process. If we just do this, this isn't anything, right? Okay, like this is nothing for me. I don't know. Maybe you trade this. Maybe you do great in a 3.5 point range. I don't find I have a good edge in a 3.5 point chop right under VWAP at 10:24 a.m. Maybe you do. If we do that, I know I don't do anything. I just sit. It's really not even a test of patience because it's so clear cut that there's nothing there. For me personally, right here, right now on ES where we're looking. So let's see what we get. That's my frame in my trade ideas. A little bit clearer for you guys. I'm gonna put this at the 45s where we got Yeah, we got liquidity to the 40s. Actually, you know what? I'm going to throw this to the 50s. I'm going to say, sorry, moving this around. I'm going to throw this to the 50s. I'm going to say above this overnight high level, all the way up to the 50s, a sweep of these. I could consider it. We start to really break above this with force. We get no reaction up here. I missed a long play to the upside, right? You know, I would be wrong. That would allow me to get a stop loss way outside of prior day high. That would be really cool. Downside, we start selling off, looking long on this bad boy down here. That's my thought process. I'm sticking to it, chat. And by sticking to it, I mean I'll adjust as as price action and market structure continues to develop. That's the beauty of being able to be discretionary. Be right back, guys. All right, let's see what happened. Chair, how did chair do, guys? Started to move. Started to move for chair, you see? Market, the market knows. The market knows when the boss is involved. As soon as you step away, the market wants to move. Yep. That's funny. Win today, I'll give it to you. At London Open, let's see what happens. Lone Wolf says, stepping away from an eval, close to passing, don't want to mess with this chop. Yeah. Long 6 MES till yesterday's point of control. Yeah, you know, again, wait for the market to set up for you. You know, it's, if you think about it this way, right? If you think about it this way. Let's say you had, this is what people said to me. It was funny. It's just an analogy for the market. Let's say you had $10,000, right? And you stand to make $2,000 on that $10,000. And you can wait for this game that we all play, right? To set up perfectly for you. To put that that bet on and potentially make $2,000, 20% of your $10,000. You don't have to put it on Monday morning or middle of the day Monday when the game looks like it's not working good. It just looks like it's all over the place. You know, your system doesn't seem to look like it's going to do anything. It's actually a gambling reference. Just wait for the ideal setup. You would wait for the perfect moment to put that $10,000 bet on. Same thing goes with trading, man. That was a terrible analogy, but the thought process is wait for the market to present a good edge for you, whatever that means, right? Because I always say that because today there's somebody that's like, this is the best trading ever. I trade 1 minute sweep of prior bar highs and lows, and I crush it in these types of conditions. Awesome. You know, if it's not it for you, just hang out. Just wait. You don't have to put a trade on. We all want to make money. We all want to work towards, you know, payouts, profit and live accounts, growing a P&L, whatever it is. And we so often get caught up in like, if I don't do something today, if I don't take trades today, a bunch of trades, I can't make any progress. That's not true. If you take no trades and you saved yourself multiple losses, you made a ton of progress rather than setting yourself way further back, right? You don't have an opportunity to upside for upside potential if you stay flat, if you don't utilize that risk. But if you know you can avoid losses or potentially avoid losses, that's a huge gain. That's a big movement in the right direction. And I struggled with that for a while, for sure. Earlier on, every day, always trading. And I would trade like the same amount and the same time and the same amount of trades. Like, how does that make sense? The market does not do anything close to the same thing every day. Why am I doing the exact same thing every day at the same times? You know, I'd wake up for London to trade Forex, and I'd immediately, like, I couldn't go more than 10 minutes looking at a chart without having a trade on right away. And it was just a number of losses that were completely unnecessary. You know, completely unnecessary. So stay patient. It sucks if I hop on here and I do live sessions with no trades. But I got my ideas, right? I got it framed out. You know what I'm looking for. Anything in here, I would just be going, I think it's going to go up, or I think it's going to go down, and I really have no reason to do that. I can make something up, you know, for you guys, and maybe I'm right. We might as well just flip a coin at that point, you know? It's just not trading. It's just gambling. Looking a little bit heavy. Again, I don't have a setup out of here. You know, with a stop right here, it's just not my play here. But it is looking a little bit heavy. Let's see what we got coming up for the rest of the day. If there's anything else crazy. Good morning, guys. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. I think I caught all you guys. Appreciate you hopping on as always. You know the drill. Smash like, smash subscribe. I'm here every damn day. Trading 100% free. Yeah, looking at the poll in Discord. You guys are looking at short. If you guys didn't answer the poll, you can. Excuse me, the poll in YouTube. I said Discord. You guys are looking shorted to the ground. Yeah, I mean, I think that's how I would be voting right now. Gun to my head. If you said you have to put a trade on right now, it would be short. It's not a good risk structure. It's not a valid setup for me. Yeah, here we go again. Seller's going to try this thing lower. Liquidity still in the same areas. I'm going to try it down here if we come down with you guys. I don't know that we find buyers there. It would be pretty damn aggressive below the 15s. We got liquidity to fuel it to the downside, and this would be a pretty big movement. But I would expect that if we got down here, we would at very least, get some kind of a pullback bounce. We wouldn't just absolutely knife right to the 6400s. But I still don't know if we do that. We're like we can't find momentum out of this area at all. At least yet. Can't find momentum yet. Either a profit take level or buyers trying to hold it up. Yeah. Yeah, nothing too crazy here. Yeah, pretty flat. pretty flat as far as percent change on the day goes. Nothing really happening out of these. Let's see what the market's got going on. Just general fundamentals, which I don't find too helpful, but I don't mind talking about it as we get more and more people on that do pay attention to it. S&P little changed as traders digest earnings. Fed decision looms. Yep. Boeing slashes losses. CEO touts our turnaround year. Yeah, not a whole lot going today in the U.S. markets. We got quite a bit of earnings going on. Didn't really talk about that. Got a lot of earnings going on. Meta, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, all set to report on Wednesday and Thursday. So yeah, again, we're at the beginning of. We did show the news week here. This could be helpful, right? We're at the beginning of a heavy, backloaded news week. Along with that, we got a tariff deadline over here later into the week. Now, that's changed like 47 times, but as we get closer, we probably will get more comments out of the U.S. administration. But reading that as well, we also have Mag 7 earnings, into tomorrow and Thursday. A lot of those are after the bell. So, it's not unheard of or crazy out of the realm of things that can happen that we just chop around. We just don't get a lot of movements out of these markets. Maybe some selling pressure as market participants are taking risk off. Like I think if you were a fundamental trader, that would be an argument that you could, you could wait. You could say, ahead of big, large, high impact financial news events, that's what is likely to happen. But that's just kind of going around the markets as far as financial news goes. But not a whole lot. Looking at the chart, chopping around VWAP. Sold off at the open, back up to VWAP. Looking heavy, right? Like I said, gun to my head, which I'm grateful that I haven't had yet live on stream with you guys. I don't plan to anytime soon. I would be short, but we'll see. This is looking kind of heavy. Coming down to test the lows right now. CVD, yeah, looking pretty weak. We got a lot of volume traded right there. We'll see if we come down to these 415s or if we really start to go. Do you ever use time and sales? No, I don't. I don't use time and sales. It can be helpful for futures traders if you, or whatever you trade, if you can find a way to utilize that and read that. I don't. I don't. I've watched it a little bit, but I haven't had any way that I've found it helpful to really utilize that in my trading. For me, Bookmap is the, I'll show this one again. Bookmap is my depth of market order flow tool that I like to use. It's my preference. That's enough for me. Like this on the right hand side, this is enough for me. So I've got my main chart that I was just showing you guys on the left hand side. I have two separate monitors that I run. If I'm traveling, it's just two basic screens, very, very simple. Simple candlestick chart with hardly any tools on it. You guys know I have VWAP, visible range volume profile, traditional volume on the bottom, like not really using any of those too heavily. I've got some basic zones that I draw. And then on the right hand side, this is the most, I'd say like the most intense or, a lot of information tool that I run, this software, right? I've got my current order book, as Bookmap calls it, similar to a depth of market, right? A DOM, although it is not, it is not the same, right? It's not buy and sell side where you have the ability to trade directly from it. It does look differently, but it displays that DOM, that depth of market, by way of a heat map. That's the way I like to think of Bookmap. Very simple. I really don't look at these different session volume profiles. I could honestly take them off. CVD is the only thing I've started to pay more attention to. Cumulative volume delta, which gives you the difference in buy and sell volume based on where you anchor, where you start your Bookmap, or how much data you load, or wherever you have it reset to. I like to watch that throughout the NYSE session. I do start it before, but I like to start it, watch it throughout the NYSE session. Watch, like right now, we are getting ready to test a low. We're kind of growing on CVD. We start to drop off, and that CVD really continues to get more and more negative. That would display that sellers are outweighing buyers by way of volume. You can see some of that stuff on a traditional volume chart. You can see it on the screen with volume bubbles. You can see it on the volume down on the bottom. There's a million different ways to read volume. CVD just is kind of an easy one for me, right? It's all about preference. But outside of that, this is the tool that I like. Time and sales is different, right? You're looking at something different there, and that can be helpful. Watching, what is coming through. You can filter it, right, by trade size. Can definitely be helpful. But just like this and everything else, there's a million different tools you could use, guys. So many different. I don't think any of them are magic. I don't think there's any holy grail out there. I just think it's what you like to use personally, and what you find helpful, and what you build experience on. Mainly that last one, what you stare at all day, and if you're a technical trader, that you're able to build some pattern recognition on. $155-day new rule on Top Step for withdrawal news. Zach, interesting. Let's see what we got going on there. See if I can pull that up. Look at that. So they dropped. I'm looking at it now. So this is from Top Step. They dropped the $200 days to $150 days to earn a payout. That makes sense. I don't know that that's like I don't know that that's like so amazingly helpful. I think it could be helpful if you're trading the 50Ks, because the $200 day was like a decent amount to shoot for. It is easier. It's better. So awesome. I think that's awesome. It'd be cooler if it was even less, but I think that's cool, right? Anything that goes in the right direction for the trader makes something easier. I like. I don't know that a $50 difference is gonna make or break anybody. Maybe it is, but it's cool. Interesting. $250 less, big deal. No, I'm reading it as $50. AVS Phoenix. I'm reading at, so Top Step had a 200. Did I read it right? Top Step had a $200 green day rule in order to qualify for a payout in an XFA after you pass your combine, right? Now it looks like instead of $200, it's $150. So $50 less. $50 less, right? That you would need. So I think that's helpful, right? It's cool. I think it's good. I think that is in favor of the trader, right? It makes it easier. But it's not like not that it's bad or anything, but it's not like, if they made it like, very, very low, that would have been cool. Or consistency or something different. Just want to make sure I read it right since we're talking about it. Started to sell off here in ES. Yeah, they didn't really post it on their socials. I was trying to find out. Did they update it on their site? Let's see. Let's see. Starting to sell off here at ES. If we start moving, I'm going to start paying attention and not be looking up this this rule. But let's go to frequently asked questions, help center. Let's see. Yeah, so instead of 5 $200 plus days, you need 5 $150 days. So it's cool. Yeah, I mean better. Again, especially for the smaller account, right? Like, you know, if you're not looking to risk that much, you have to put up $200 days. Maybe you want to take it really slow in a 50K. So, I think that's cool. Helpful. Good by them. Nothing. Again, nothing crazy, and not $250 less. $50 less. That's what they're looking for. All right, so looking at this on Bookmap, continuing to look like we want to start to sell off. Just taking a look at NQ, what we're doing here on Bookmap as well. Got some big orders getting moved around down here. Slowly grinding lower, very slowly grinding lower. Let's hop back over to the candlestick chart while we have a minute. Let's see. Slowly trailing lower. Not a whole lot of momentum. Some decent volume getting traded. I think we're either going to bounce here, come right the hell back up, and just, crack to the upside, or maybe we see some sellers step in and we actually get some volume out of this. But so far, slow drift lower. Not a whole lot. Heavy buy side order now at 410. This is dicey, guys. Dicey. Can the market move, man, so I can get a trade on, please? It'd be great. It'd be really nice. I would really like to get some trading in here. Fun stuff, these markets. Nice movements overnight. Where was our session yesterday? Choppy until we did finally start to sell off into the afternoon. But again, most of the movement into the afternoon. All the way into the afternoon. Similar here for the first hour, right? Garbage, literally hot garbage, and then maybe even a little bit more garbage. And then what do we get? After 12 o'clock, lunchtime, we start moving. There we go. What do you got for me today, ES? Let's see what we got. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Yeah, chat says shorted to the ground. 70%. You guys are looking short. Interesting to see. Always appreciate you guys hopping on these live streams. If you're not on here often, you're new, it's your first time, I'm here every damn day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, showing you what trading looks like for me. 100% free. Wins, losses, break evens, and unfortunately, not a whole lot of trading. Yesterday I went no trade. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna stay at least. I'm gonna say at least until 11:30. If there's nothing that sets up for me, there's nothing that sets up for me. But I'm gonna put the work in and hang out with you guys and make sure that I'm at least giving it a very bona fide effort to get a trade on by hanging out and waiting to see what happens. That's my game plan. Maybe we let the chair trade for a little bit, but for the most part, we're gonna see what happens here. Outside of that, you guys got trading questions, want to yap about the market, feel free, let me know. Watching this thing start to sell off a little bit. Ooh, looking at YM. YM fell off a cliff. NQ chopping around lows. And ES is below session lows now, putting the session low in on that last 1 minute candle. We gonna continue this? Give me some trades, man. Or it might just be that, you know, we got garbage price action market structure up until, you know, up until news. This thing is looking heavy, guys. This is looking pretty damn heavy. There we go. Starting to break overnight low. Now let's see what happens. Do we get more momentum that comes into this? I am interested to see, again, looking off of the down around the 415s, we had quite a bit come in and come off on the 410s. We got somebody moving an order around down there, but that looks like BS. Talking order flow. I'm interested to see if we get a crack down around those 15s where I would consider a buy. Ooh. This could get dicey here, guys. We got some, definitely got some volume coming in. CBD continuing to drop off, breaking overnight low. Like I said, was cautious of just taking it long over here because I don't know that we stop here. Not with liquidity down here and so close to prior day low. Wouldn't mind it from down here with a stop loss outside of prior day low by a couple points. We could really aggressively sell off today and just, again, come all the way down through this level where I would also be considering it. But first, I'd be looking for a bounce. Bounce on a fill of some liquidity down here. Yep, NQ doing the same. Is Dow selling off stupid aggressively also? Oh, yeah. Yep, Dow putting lows of session in. Yeah, market's looking weak. Market's looking very weak. Let's see what we get down here. Chat, see what the market's got for us. Let's see. What do you guys think? You guys looking just straight up short on this? You think we're selling off today? This is turning into a bearish day here. Here we go. We got some movement out of this market. Again, I'm looking long off of a level of liquidity, but this is going to be a dicey move, as they always are. If I'm counter to price movement, you can get your face ripped off really quickly. Like I often say, get your face ripped off looking long as the market's selling off. The stop losses can be pretty violent trading this way. So you got to recognize that on the front end, accept that risk if you're going to put a trade on. I'm talking to myself, right? Because nothing I do here is suggestion or recommendation to do anything. But that just comes with the territory. Found some buyers around the 20s. Yeah, again, I'm looking at a crack through. So trading below the 415s for a long. There is a bit right at 410, 64.10. We got another 150 on the book down here. But this has been sitting here all morning, and I really wouldn't mind that for a potential long. we go. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Out for 4. Let the 2 run. Nice. 18 is a target. Nice. Wolf took this bad boy to the downside. Ralph says straight up short. Very nice. Very nice. $18.25 on the dot. I got it out. Very nice. Very nice, Wolf. Finding some buyers here, but not a whole lot. I could see a pullback up to that overnight low level and then a continuation. I don't love that. I'd love a dip down right now. I want to see this down, right? Again, like we talk about, how we get to a level, how we get to an area makes a difference, right? This is different than this. Right? This is downtrend structure. Buyers continuing to fail to take it higher. Sellers outweighing buyers. You know, really showing downtrend structure and more of a trend. More of an impulsive dip down before any pullback. At least if I'm wrong and we're not going to find a low down here and then pull all the way back up to VWAP, it could give me a way to grab onto a winning trade on just a pullback, right? Which is why I have a preference for this this style here on ES, but it's not giving me what I wanted here. Wanted to move right down to the 415s. Let's go, ES. Come on, do your thing. Do that thing that you do. $415s, 414s. That's what I'm looking at for a long. We pull all the way back up on this. I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm a no trade. So let's see. Let us see. Let us see. Nope, finding buyers so far here. Waiting to see if we come down into the area of interest marked on my chart, guys, the 64.15s, and how we get there. If we start to pull back up through like the 23s, 25s, I'm not gonna like this as much. We go all the way back up to VWAP, my idea shot. So waiting to see if we do indeed hit my level, or if we find buyers 5 points above it. You know, I don't get my level hit, and I don't get a trade. But I want to see what happens as we come down. If we come down to 64.15s, do we find some buyers there? Do we crack below, trade the 414, something around that area? start to see a rise in volume. So far, looks like buyers want to try it out of this area. Nope. Buyers want to pull it back up. Oh, market. Market, market, market. In wait and see mode here, guys. Got close to a setup here, but buyer stepping right back in. Not wanting to allow this thing to drift lower just yet. Yeah, this has been somewhat of an interesting area on the chart. We've had a couple reactions here. Might be all we get. But I ain't FOMOing into nothing. That's my plan. There we go. Now what happens? Now we come through this low or we hang out. Again, guys, eyeballing along down here off a key level, anticipating this not to just absolutely sell off today. This is pretty aggressive on downtrend structure. We are pretty far below VWAP here, but sticking to my guns, waiting for my setup to come. Can we see it today? I guess something today here. we got some movement here, guys. Here we go. Got some movement here.
Order filled.
While I'm waiting for this to happen, man, watching Bookmap on the side and looking to scalp a couple trades in my Top Step accounts, keep them active. I still got a 5-pack of XFAs over there that I hardly trade. Most of them are not too far from getting killed. Taking payouts from all of them, which is nice, but I think all but one actually of the 5-pack that I have. But you got to be careful, just like Top 1 and everything else, they have inactivity rules. So Top 1 is 14 days, every 2 weeks you got to have a trade. Top Step is once a month. You can't go over a month without taking a trade. Otherwise, you risk losing the accounts. I think they warned you one time, and I've been warned once before. So it is something interesting to take note of. If you have multiple accounts, or you travel, or you don't trade all of them, you work with a whole bunch of different stuff. Here we go. Let's see. Don't forget to take a trade in and out on at least quick on all of your accounts. I try to do it once a week. This way, especially if I'm going to travel or something, but I really just try to remember to do it once a week. Man, we're not coming down into this level. We're finding some buyers right here. I don't know about this one, guys. I'm gonna throw something on with you here, but I'd like one more aggressive dip lower, and I'm gonna mark it in. That's my play. That's my play. If I was able to hold in the demo accounts, put the trade, and forget. I can never do the same in either eval or XFA, man. I hit both targets today on YM and ES. If only I could do the same in evals and XFAs, I'd be getting payouts every week. Yeah, man. I talked about it yesterday, Wolf, right? I sent that voice message in Discord. I hold trades nowadays from pre-market all the way to market close if they don't do anything. It's harder for some than it is for others. That seems to be a strong suit for me for whatever reason. But man, if you could just let the market, oftentimes, if you could just let the market do whatever the hell it's going to do in between your take profit and stop loss and allow it to just be a winner or a loser, man, you can capitalize on so much more movement. This looks like a reversal here. Gee, what is up with this market, man? Don't want to come through this? I'll talk about that in a minute, man, because I think it's so crucial. So many times we have great entries. We have a great spot to get involved in the market, and I talked about trade management, going stop loss to break even. I made a whole YouTube video about it. We oftentimes just mismanage our trades by closing it early. It's showing us some nice profit, a couple $100. We want to end green. We want to feel good, have a nice winning day. And what do? We clip the trade. And of course, every time we do that, we know the market just continues ripping in our direction all the way through our take profit, right? It's not to say that you won't have many trades. If you hold all the way to take profit or stop loss, you don't go break even, you don't scale out. It's not to say that you won't have many trades that go into profit and come back on you. But the question is, do the ones that go all the way to take profit and the frequency at which that happens, does that outweigh and call for you not to close early? Most of the time, I think it does. It's just a difficult thing to do. But review your trades, review your data. That's what I do. I really not punish myself, but I'm just honest and truthful with myself. Yeah, this looks like we want to push back up without coming near the 15s. ES, man, is going to test my patience today. Really going to effing test my patience because I think we're coming back above overnight low. Hold your trades. Hold your trades. Again, I find that easier for me for some reason. I just did well with, maybe it comes from swing trading to start and you know, trading stocks first, and that's just kind of like the MO, but a lot of traders struggle with that. I would say it's harder for me to not go stop loss to break even or drag stop losses up because I've always found that to be like the right thing to do. But practice it, man. I would really challenge yourself. Put like 1 micro on or 2 micros, whatever is not crazy enough where it's going to hurt your account, but enough to feel it. And then hold that trade all day, right? If you can't hold trades while you're sitting at the desk, the easy workaround is to just leave, to put the trade on. I'd be cautious doing it in live accounts because a lot can happen, and sometimes you got to be there once the trade closes to make sure everything's closed, all the other orders are canceled, you know, all that type of stuff. You can set some alerts just to be careful. But I would build the habit by first making it easy for yourself, which would be put the trade on and then leave. Log out, walk away, come back, watch what happens. You'll often find, if you're struggling with this, and you should be holding, you'll find that a lot of those trades went all the way to take profit. And you'll watch the way in which it did it. Like it got close, and you know when it started to come back down after getting close, you would have closed that out, right? But then it came back down and went all the way up, right? You can practice that, build the right habit, and go, wow, look what happens if I just hold on to these bad boys. Look what happens if I just hang on all the way through all this BS that happens. You know, and you can start that by walking away. And then second would be challenging yourself to watch it, right? Challenge yourself to really sit there and not close the trade. Do what you're supposed to do, right? Fight that fear, you know, greed, whatever the emotion that you're dealing with, to hang on to your trade all the way to let it be a damn winner. That in itself can be a complete determining factor between making money and losing money. 100%. That in itself. If you cannot hold winning trades, there's no amount of technical analysis or entry or indicators that is going to help you beat that. Minute I left the computer, I started to look at my phone. Yeah, you got to get off the phone too. Lock the apps out, delete the apps out, you know, whatever you have to do. You know, you have to remove it from your phone if you have to. Log out, you know, all that type of stuff. But again, because that doesn't solve the problem, but kind of like the risk parameters, it can help you build the right habit because, you know, if your goal is to make money, which I'm sure it is, and all of a sudden you start doing that and you're making money and you watch it play out over and over and over again, it reinforces it and it becomes easier to do the right thing and not as logical to do the wrong thing because now you've watched it play out in front of your face so many times, right? We can't always do that, but there is a way to do that with trading, which is just set it and forget it. Literally walk away, X out of the computer, you know, get it off your phone. Maybe you have to delete apps, all of these things, and just let them run to, you know, to stop loss and take profit. And what you'll see is, okay, I hit full take profit over here, full stop loss over here. Look, I'm making money. And then if I look back at my trades when I'm managing them, well, I took full stop losses on all these, but then I took partials every single time we got close or halfway to my take profit. You know, you start to realize the right thing and the wrong thing to do. And then the next step is to come back to the desk, you know, and allow that to play out in front of your face. You know, and that comes from literally writing down maybe on a piece of paper, like, I am not going to touch this trade. My job is to watch it all day and to watch it all the way back to stop loss. But I know that I failed if I close this thing early before a stop loss and take profit. You know, those are some of the exercises you could start to do. Yeah, watching this thing continue to sell off, guys. Still interested down here. I'm going to look to snag something as we come lower. Again, this is aggressive. This is looking aggressively long as we're selling off. That was an alert right near the 15 going off. Trade down into it and we're finding buyers. Yeah, I want to see this get taken. There's quite a bit down here. I want to see this liquidity fill. I really want to see a wick down. We could find buyers at any moment here. That was close as all hell. One tick from my my level, but like I said, below the 15s. I want to see that get taken for potential pushback up. Again, guys, looking long on this one. Here we go. We're going to get a little bit of volatility through this, or what? We're going to find buyers off of it right here. Watch a book map for a long here. Really the same area I've been watching on my chart since this morning, since I marked it. I just don't know that we come through this. Got my level getting tapped right now. I'd like to see the clear out here. The nice volatile movement where we create a nice wick through this. But I don't know that we do that. It's just getting held.
Order filled.
I'm going to take this here, guys. I'm going to take it off the 15s. We're finding some buyers here. We're really struggling to move lower. This is the area. That's a pretty crappy fill. It's the area that I've been watching all day, all morning. So I'm getting long. I'm long from 54.15. Kind of sucks because I would have liked that to be, 64.15 and 3/4. Long from 64.15 and 3/4. I'm not going to wait for this to push lower. We got it at the 10s. We might have to come down here and grab this, but this was the level I was watching from this morning. area of liquidity. Get rid of that. Area of liquidity on the book that I've been staring at all damn morning. We're really struggling to move lower. We got some buyers trying to step back in, growing CVD ever so slightly. I think if we come through this really aggressively, I'm dead wrong. I'm buying on a on an obvious move to the downside, and we are in fact not going to we're not going to find any buyers here, and we're going to sell off really aggressively. But I think this is going to be somewhat of a decision-making point. I could see potentially a move down to the 410s, the prior day low, a little wick lower here, and then buyers found. But I like where my stop loss is in the outside of a prior day low. Aggressive counter to the movement, 110%. That's cool by me, more than cool by me. So that's my play. Got a trade on. Was hoping to get one on. Waited. I don't like to get involved in chop or just something that's not setting up for me, but I got what I needed to get in, and that's good. Now, let the market do what it's going to do. There's the dip lower. There's the clean out. Let's see what happens. Do we rip right through this area, or do we find buyers here after filling these buy orders? That's the million-dollar question. You want to go grab the 410s. Not finding buyers yet, guys. Not finding them yet. Yeah, here we go to the 410s. Let's see what happens down here. Let's see, got a little bit of a reaction here. We'll see if we get any continuation. We dipped down lower. Buyers tried to pull it back up. Filled some of that liquidity. We got real close to the 410s. Didn't grab it. We got 279 on the book down there. Watching to see if that level holds. That's really last ditch, right? Maybe just a tick or two below prior day low. If not, I think we're coming way lower, all the way down to these 395s. Let's see what we got, chat. Trade on, trading live. We got to take a W. We got to take an L. We got to take, not going to be a break even, I'll tell you that. It's going to be a win or a loss. We'll take it on the chin, as they say. That's my mindset with trading. But yeah, this thing's continuing to show weakness right now. We started to hesitate there, really started to consolidate. That was a dip below and then immediate buy back up. Here we come lower, putting session lows in. 410s. Can we see it? There's really not a whole lot down by my stop. Doesn't mean we don't wick down there really aggressively. But for those of you that use a DOM, you'll see what I'm looking at. About 272 on the book right here, about a point below where price is at. 64.10s. We'll see if we can't grab those buy orders, maybe find some buyers, but that came through the 15s with some force, unfortunately. Let's see. Let's go around the horn here. Yeah, NQ selling off 23.48. Excuse me, 23.480 on NQ. So NQ did dip as well. YM continuing to sell off as well. There we go. Filled everything down at these 410s. Now, ooh, yeah, we got a lot of buyers getting involved there. Now, we could just keep coming through this. Sellers can just keep driving this thing lower, but I'm curious to see if we get some kind of reaction here. If we get some kind of a movement off of this. If we don't, it's going to be lights out very quickly. Got something getting moved around there again at the 64.10s. But I want to see this quickly start to react from this area. Otherwise, ooh, yeah. Nah, otherwise we're dropping. And maybe it's the 395s before we find anything. The 6400s, 395s. That's next level to the downside that I'd be looking at. Would love to, let's see. Held shorts on glad I did. Nice. Very nice. Not much down by the 405s. We'll see if it wicks down. Yep. 586 at 410. Yeah, I see that coming on and off. I saw some of that coming on and off on Bookmap. Yeah. Sellers continuing to drive it lower. Got some volume there. Still in by the skin of my teeth. There's a sweep of prior day low, but this looks like we're getting ready for another drop. Really aggressive, just not finding buyers. Just continuing to not find any buyers down here. Looks like we're going to unfortunately keep moving lower until we do. Unfortunately for my trade. If you got short on this somewhere, you caught a short off of VWAP or something like that. Very nice, but yeah, this looks like the stop's coming for me. Part of the game, guys. Yeah, there it is. Part of the game, unfortunately. Order filled on that one. Not finding any buyers at all. To the downside, 6,400 to 6,395 would be the next level that I'm looking at. Tried it off here where we had quite a bit of liquidity, but we are just blasting through prior day low now. Looking very, very weak. Very weak on this. Part of the game. Part of the game. And on that note, guys, made it all the way to 11:30. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. IB breakdown for me. Nice. Very nice, Luna. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up here. I'll be watching on separate accounts. Maybe something off the 395s. If we got all the way down there, I could see that for another aggressive long attempt. But I'm going to be done in these for sure. No need to continue trading them. Here, ready? We'll go ahead and do something fun. I think that demonstrates some good risk management. Lockout feature on Project X. Check it out. Done for the day. Locked out for the rest of the day on these accounts. Maybe we watch another reaction, right? But I always talk about using the tools at hand, right? Setting a personal daily loss limit, maybe something along those lines, locking yourself out. I don't find the need to do that anymore, just at the stage that I'm in. But if it helps you to watch me do that and employ that rule and be disciplined that way, I think that can be helpful. So, guys, unfortunately took an L. Really nice green streak that I had running. No trade yesterday. We'll see if this market does start to reverse here. We got some buyers stepping in there after taking me out below prior day low, but my trade idea did not play out. We did not find buyers anywhere near these 64.15s where I was looking for that bounce up. All the way down below prior day low, traded down to the 64.05s to the dot, to the tick. But this still looks weak. Again, if I was looking for something else long, which I'm not, as you can see, locked out now, 6400s, 63.95s. We got quite a bit down here. So guys, first off, I'll see you tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. If you want to check out Top 1 Futures, you know the drill. Code RDF. Hell of a deal. You might want to check out Discord because there may or may not be something else going on. Don't know. Can neither confirm nor deny. But remember, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't provide financial advice. Nothing I say or do is suggestion or recommendation to do anything at all. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. Do your own research. Make your own trading decisions. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, even in funded prop firm accounts, and the affiliate and partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from links and codes in my content, like Top 1 Futures, code RDF, Bookmap, and others. Talk to you guys soon. Hope you have an awesome rest of the day. Trade safe. Markets are looking weak. See you guys tomorrow.